Hello, I'm Nancy and I'm an uprising sophomore in college. But if I were instead a freshman about to enter my first year, these are the 10 things I would do to prepare for college over the summer. The first is to learn some survival skills, and I don't mean like Hunger Games survival skills. I mean just the things that the average person does regularly that a lot of us never really did when we were at home living with our parents, and that includes cooking, doing your own laundry, ironing your clothes, maybe hemming dresses or pants, things like that that you might actually need to do in college and your mom always did for you. I would recommend to make a list of all the things you want to be able to do in college that you can't do right now and ask one of your parents or a friend who's good at it to teach you how to do it. The second thing is to make sure you have the fitness routine that you want to do in college set from now. It takes 21 days to form a habit, and it's just way easier to form that habit now that you have more time off probably in the summer than to try to do it at the beginning of your freshman year when you're going to have so much to worry about. Like really, it's hectic. And it's easier if you just get it out of the way now, start doing that. I was one of those people that said, once I start college, I'm going to start working out 3 times a week. But I never actually did until about the week before finals, and then finals rolled around and I just never really did it. So start it now, and it's really good to actually have a fitness routine in college so you can avoid the dreaded freshman 15, which I didn't manage to avoid. Another good thing that goes with it is to figure out what healthy snacks you enjoy so you can stock up on those when you go shopping for your college dorm. The third thing would be to figure out how you're going to keep yourself on top of your commitments, because I feel like college tends to involve a lot more extracurriculars, things outside of your academic commitments, and you don't want to not show up to things or not get stuff done. So I really recommend figuring out what the best way to stay on top of things is for you. I do 3 things actually. The first is to have a dry erase calendar and colorful markers, and I put in all of my commitments, color-coded depending on whether they're academic, leisure, related to a certain club, things like that. And I also have a big dry erase board that has nothing on it, so I have like a to-do and a to-buy list, and you can write like when things have to be done by on your to-do list, or when you have to buy something by if you have deadline, or not if you just want to get around to it eventually when you have free time. And the third thing is an academic planner, which I carry around to all of my classes so I can write down assignments and things as soon as I find out about them. I also use iCalendar, so I use a lot of stuff, and I set like reminders because my iCalendar syncs to my iPhone, and so I'll set up reminders because if my phone doesn't remind me that I have to meet up with someone, I will not show up. And it's happened to me when I lost my phone for like 2 days. I missed like 2 really important meetings for commitments. So you don't want to be that person because you can get in some real trouble or even like lose positions that you have in clubs and organizations. So figure it out now and buy whatever you're going to need to stay organized, because I said I would buy it once I got to school and figure that out, and it took me like 2 months to actually get the stuff. So buy it now. The fourth thing is to declutter your belongings, because if we're being honest, most of us don't use half of the stuff we own, and you're going to be moving into a way smaller room than the one you're in right now most likely, and you're going to be sharing it with somebody else. So don't just pack by throwing everything you own into your car and then hoping it'll work out once you get to school, because I've seen way too many people try to stuff everything they had back home in their larger room that they had all to themselves into this smaller room that they're sharing, and it doesn't work out. And you don't want to be that roommate that takes up way more space than you really should, because that's not nice. So do declutter, and I think it's a great opportunity to go through everything you own and decide what just needs to go to the garbage, what somebody else could give use to that you can donate, what you might want to keep but you know you're not going to use in college so you can leave at home, and what you actually truly are going to use in college to take. Another good tip to kind of reduce the amount of stuff that you have at school with you is that if you drive home for spring break and Thanksgiving break, you can just take with you when you start school your summer and fall clothes, and then over Thanksgiving break you can leave all your summery clothes back home and bring your winter clothes, and then the opposite in spring break. So you would leave all your wintry stuff at home and take back your summery clothes to school, and that helps you have less stuff at school that you don't actually need. One of the best organizational tips I have ever heard is super simple: the less stuff you have, the less stuff you have to keep organized. So I would live by that tip in college. Then the fifth tip is to talk to your parents about money logistics. And this might kind of sound like a given, but I didn't really do this until I was in college. So figure out how often your parents are going to be giving you money, if they are, if it's going to be a monthly allowance, or they're going to give you a bunch of money for your whole semester and you have to figure it all out, or if you can just call them up every time you need more money and they'll deposit some more. Also, if you need to get a debit card, credit card, or set up a bank account if you don't have one yet, do that as soon as possible. Don't leave it for the last minute. Also, the thing that kind of goes with that, and this is the sixth thing, is to definitely create a budget. A budget is going to be one of the most important tools you have in college. It's going to help you save a lot more money and know where your money is going. I divide my budget into 4 categories, and it is things that I know have to be paid every month, which is pretty much my cell phone bill, thing like grocery shopping, retail shopping just for clothes and shoes, and the last is off-campus meals, because I do have a prepaid meal plan, but like once a week at least my friends and I like to go out and switch it up at a restaurant off campus, so I split money up into those. I would make your budget right now, try to stick to it the first month, and then if you see that it's not working for you because it turns out you shop a lot less than you thought you would, and you actually go to eat off-campus a lot more than you thought, you can just switch money from shopping onto off-campus meal plan, off-campus dining, and try to stick to it the next month, and just keep altering it until you have it set. The best way to stay on top of it, I would say, is to either check online with your bank to see if they have an online way that can report to you how much you're spending on each area. Wells Fargo does that. You just go online and it'll have categories and it'll tell you how much you spent on your debit card on each category. What I do is I have a little notebook and I write down September expenses, and I write down every time I go to Walmart or every time I go shopping to the mall and how much I spent each time, because you don't really spend money that often, so it's not a hassle to keep track of it. And then at least halfway through the month, I would check to see how I'm doing so far, and if I already spent the $50 that I can spend on shopping every month, then I know that I can't go shopping for the rest of the month, and things like that. It really is quite helpful. It helps you know where your money's going and realize that maybe you don't want that much money going there. The 7th thing is super exciting, and it's if you have a random roommate, to, as soon as you figure out who they are, contact them and start getting to know the person you're going to be living for the next year, and also taking care of some logistics such as who's going to bring the fridge, the microwave, and the TV. Those are the top 3 things I think you would usually share in a dorm room. Some schools I know provide the mini fridge and microwave, but my school didn't. So figure out who's bringing what so you don't have doubles or miss stuff, and get to know them because you're going to be living with them, and it's exciting. The 8th thing is to figure out how you can get involved, because I think that 90% of the awesomeness of college is completely outside the classroom and not even related to academic stuff. Maybe not 90%, maybe that's exaggerating. I don't know, I think most people would agree that the best part of your college experience takes place outside the classroom, and I don't mean just in parties or just socializing, but in clubs and organizations and things like that, because it really makes your year so much better. So I would figure out if your school has a fair that they hold that can help you get informed about the different ways that you can get involved. I know my school does have a huge one in September as soon as the year starts, and there you can get pens to last you the rest of your college career, enough cups to make it through your freshman year without buying any, and frisbees and random stuff, but most importantly, tons of information on the thousands of ways that you can get involved on campus. There is religious groups, there's community service groups, there's skydiving club and Quidditch team, and usually fraternities and sororities also do that. So it's just a great opportunity to talk to representatives and figure out if a place is something you're interested in getting involved with, signing up for the listserv, figuring out when you can go to an info session and find out more about it. I would definitely not miss out on it if your school holds one of these. If they don't, then just look online and try to figure out how you might be able to get involved as soon as you get there. because it will make your freshman year way awesomer. The next thing isn't quite as exciting, but it has to do with figuring out as much as you can about how you're going to build your schedule. This depends very much on your school and your major, how much freedom you'll have to build your own schedule. For my freshman first semester, because I'm in a very small structured major, I had no choice. I was told which classes I was going to be taken with which professors at what time, and everyone in my major got the exact same thing because we're very small, so we all take the same classes at the same time. But a lot of people have a little bit more wiggle room because you'll get told something more broad, like you have to take a science class this semester or a freshman literature class, which means you can often choose which type of science or at least which professor you want to take in that class and at what time. So start looking at in your university's webpage at what times they offer that class, what professors. Go to ratemyprofessors.com or Coopers.com and figure out, which professor you want to take out of the ones that you can take. Don't just look at the number of stars that professors get, actually look at the comments, because people might be looking for different things in professors than you are, so they might rate them lowly for things that you don't necessarily care about, or rate them highly for things that you don't care about. So do read the comments and, try to make the best schedule you can. And once you know what classes you're going to take, I really recommend going really in-depth into investigating how you can save money on books. That is the 10th thing. Because in college, you can spend hundreds of books a semester, hundreds of dollars a semester on books. But if you do it right, you can also save hundreds of dollars each semester. So what I would do is find out what textbooks I'm going to need for each class, and then make a little chart where you have the name of the textbook, and then next to it you write first what the university bookstore charges for it, and you can find this out usually on the university bookstore website. Then say what Amazon charges for it, what half.com charges. Through book holders, you can often also rent books instead of buying them, and that can come in really handy because they're a lot cheaper sometimes. So make that chart, figure out for each book what the cheapest way of getting it is, and you can get like 2 of your books from the university bookstore, 2 from Amazon, a couple rented, and things like that. Just make sure you take into consideration shipping costs, because sometimes it'll be cheaper if you just order more. If you had one that you wanted to buy from a different place, just to buy it a little bit more expensive in the other place if it's going to save you money on shipping. But that is what I would do to save as much money as possible on textbooks. And that's it. Those are the 10 things I would do if I were a freshman again. And some of them I'm going to do even though I'm a sophomore, like the textbook thing, and my schedule is already pretty much built. But I wish you the best of luck if you're starting college in the fall. And please leave any comments or suggestions down below. If you have any questions or you want me to make a video going more in depth into any of the things that I talked about in this video, if you found this video helpful at all, please do subscribe. I would really appreciate it. I'm going to be making a lot more college related videos in the future. I already have planned to make an how to organize and how to decorate your dorm room videos, because I kind of didn't do a very good job at it last year, and I've learned from my mistakes, and this year my room is going to be gorgeous and I'm not going to spend a lot of money on it. I've already bought a bunch of the stuff that I'm going to use for my dorm, and I'm super excited. But now I'm rambling, so I hope you enjoyed. Please subscribe. Have a great day.